Honda Accord with the 3.0 liter engine, EGR Insufficient Flow Code. I'm Brian Esser from How to Automotive. I'm going to walk you step by step through the process of diagnosing that code and walk you through the process of the repairs. So I had this vehicle hooked up to a scan tool, and I'm on the manufacturer side of the scan tool, and I'm looking up technical service bulletins or known problems with this. So what it's telling me here is common causes for this code is EGR ports plugged up, the EGR valve itself not working or not getting a signal basically. So with the scan tool, I tried to run some basic tests and see if I can operate the EGR valve with the scan tool, but it wasn't an option on this particular model. So we're going to do this manually. So the scan tool did provide me with a manual test that we can do. So we're going to walk through this manual test and do this and determine if the EGR ports are plugged up or if the EGR valve is working. The first thing we're going to do is get access to the EGR valve by removing this top engine cover. So I'm going to pull this cover off. So the test wants us to manually operate this valve. So I'm going to unplug it. I got the engine running here. And it tells us to apply power to terminal 6 and ground terminal 4. And that'll operate the valve. So to do that, I'm going to use my Automotive test connector here, but it's made by ES Electronic Specialist, and I'm going to use a power probe to apply power to that valve and operate it. So I found a test lead that best fits the terminals on the EGR valve here, and my diagram says terminal 4 and 6 are the ones I need to hook up to, so I'm hooking up to terminal 4 and 6. Having these test leads allows me to hook up to this safely without risk of shorting out. So I got it hooked up to the terminals 6 and 4. So in the instructions here, it tells me to hook up the positive lead to the terminal 6 and the negative lead to the terminal 4. So that's what I've done here. I also recommend that you check your diagrams before you do this. It may be different on your vehicle, but on this particular vehicle, that's what the setup is. Now with the power probe hooked up to the battery and the negative lead on the power probe hooked up to the negative lead on the terminal and the positive lead hooked up to the EGR valve, I'm applying power to the EGR. And we're going to listen for the engine to stall or stumble. It should really stumble really bad and run really poorly when the valve opens up. And also when you apply the power here, you should hear the valve actually click and make an audible noise. And that'll also tell you if the valve is opening. If it doesn't make any noise, the engine doesn't stumble, I would suspect the EGR valve. But if you hear the valve operating, but the engine does not stumble or anything, then I would suspect a clogged port. So as I'm applying power and ground to this EGR valve and operating it, I can hear the valve operating, but the engine is stumbling or very little RPM drop. I mean, very little. And usually when these are operating, it'll almost kill the engine or actually make the engine stall. So I believe the valve is definitely working, but I suspect that the port is plugged. But I'm not going to call that a diagnosis just yet. I want to make sure that this is actually getting a signal to the EGR valve from the connector here or from the PCM, because if it doesn't get the signal, it won't operate, and that'll also cause the ports to clog up. So all data has a little diagram here showing us how the valve is wired and worked here through the connector, and the ground is grounded all the time, and the power is cycled on from the PCM in a duty cycle. So it's going to pulse the voltage on off really fast, and the longer it pulses it on, the more EGR flow it has, and the less it pulses it, the less EGR it has. So I'm going to quickly test the ground circuit here by back probing or probing it here with a negative lead, and with my voltmeter I'm going to apply or attach it to the positive lead on the battery and check the reading and make sure I get a good solid ground. And which I do. So as I'm applying it to the positive side, I get a good solid ground at the connector. So I know my ground circuit is in good shape. So now I'm going to plug it back in. Back probe terminal 4 with the positive lead and hook the negative lead up to the negative terminal on the battery. And then I'm going to put my voltmeter on voltage scale and drive the vehicle and see if the PCM is sending a signal to it. And I apologize for not showing you that. I lost the footage somehow. So now I have it hooked up. I'm driving the vehicle. And as I'm launching off, you can see that on the voltmeter there, it's getting a signal. So every time I stomp on the throttle, it gets an EGR pulse width, on off real fast. You can see it on the screen there. So that's confirming that I am getting a signal to the EGR valve. So if I was not getting a signal, then I would look into wiring diagrams to figure out why I wasn't getting a signal from the PCM to the EGR valve. But we are getting a signal. The valve is working, but the RPMs are not dropping, so the gas is not circulating through the intake. So the EGR ports are plugged. We need to take the intake boot off here and pull the intake manifold off the upper plenum and unplug the ports. I'm gonna walk you through the steps of doing that. So I'm unbolting the snorkel here, loosening up the clamps. I'm gonna pull off the hoses. So there's a couple of hoses on the left and the right side of the air boot here, and this little electrical connector was in the way. So I went ahead and pulled that off. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pull this whole air snorkel off. So you can take the air boot off and set it aside. After that, we're going to remove 2 bolts and 2 nuts from the throttle body here and unbolt it. We're not going to disconnect the hoses or anything or take the cables off of it. We're going to leave all that attached. We're just going to unbolt it, and then we're going to pull it off and then set it where the air snorkel area was at. So once you get the 2 nuts and 2 bolts removed from the throttle body, you're just going to slide the throttle body towards you and pull it off. Once it comes off the studs, you're just going to let it rest down here like this. So this is a little bit of an older model, and it has ignition wires. Some of them have coil unplug, and so I'm going to unroute the wires off the top cover here, and then we're going to pull this top cover off. There was no bolts or anything just pressed on, so you just pull them up and set them aside. Now the front cover has a couple bolts, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the 2 10mm bolts there, and then we're going to set this cover aside. So once you get the covers all removed, after that we're going to go in the back of the intake manifold here, and there's going to be some vacuum hoses. We're going to pop these hoses off. There's a bigger one for the brake booster. You're going to pop those 3 hoses off, and then we're going to start removing the bolts. There's also a sensor in the back there, and we're needing to unbolt that. Now I'm going to start removing the bolts from the plenum here. I'm using a 12mm socket, and I'm using my Milwaukee M18 fuel 3/8 drive impact gun here to make quick work of that. And so you're just going to go ahead and remove all the bolts and fasteners. So there's about 8 bolts and nuts in total. And once you get all these removed, go ahead and set these aside. Now you can lift the plenum straight up. And once we lift the plenum up, there's going to be 1 vacuum hose on the bottom. This hose is actually for the PCV valve, so go ahead and unplug that, and then you can set the plenum aside. So with the plenum off, I wanted to show you how the EGR flows. So it flows through the EGR valve, through the lower portion of the intake, up this little port here, and then it flows into the upper plenum here through this port here. And as you can see right here, it's full of carbon and plugged off, and that's where it goes in this hole and then gets dispersed through all the cylinders. So we need to get the carbon buildup here out of the intake here, and I'm going to walk you through the process of doing that. So this port is actually pretty small, and I start out with a pick tool like this and just pick out as much of the carbon as I can. So the port is actually at an angle like this when you get it unclogged. So as you get it picked out, you'll be able to slide your pick tool in at an angle like this, and you'll feel it slide all the way through and go into the chamber inside the manifold. So when you're able to slide it in like that, you've got the port unplugged. So I'm going to spray a little bit of chem tool or carb spray in here and help break that carbon out and get even more of it out to make sure it doesn't clog back up and make sure we have a good flow through there. So I'm going to spray a healthy spray of that in there and work it through with the pick tool some more. And then even I'm going to use some compressed air. So as I blow through the port, you'll hear it rushing through the manifold, and you know that the port is completely unplugged, and you'll even feel the air coming out of the ports. So carbon can build up in the lower portion of it too. So we're going to remove the EGR valve, take the 2 12mm bolts holding it on, take the valve off, and we're going to check to see if the ports are plugged. So with the valve removed, I'm going to spray carb spray in the top port here, and if you see it running out down here, you know the port is not clogged and flowing. But if you don't see the carb spray run out down here, then the passage is plugged and we need to unplug it. I'll show you how I do unplug it. This one is flowing well. For demonstration purposes, I'll show you how I do it. So what I do is I take an old speedo cable that I've taken off an old vehicle, and I'll feed it down into the port, and I have it attached to a drill. So I'll slowly drill the cable into the port and feed it in with one hand like this. So I'm drilling with one hand and pushing with the other, and it's augering its way through the carbon buildup. It kind of works like a plumber's snake. So here I am pushing it in the bottom port, and as I'm pushing, I'm drilling the drill at the same time and slowly pushing with my fingers and working it into the port. And as I'm drilling and pushing, you'll actually see the speedo cable come out the other end of the port here. So that's how I unclog the ports. So now I'm going to walk you through the steps of putting everything back together. So if we need to, you can change out the EGR gasket here. I'll link up all the gaskets and tools that I'm using in the video in the description. So you're going to replace the EGR valve gasket, slide the EGR valve back on, and go ahead and start the nuts. Now with a torque wrench, you can torque the 2 bolts down to 16 foot-pounds, or actually the 2 nuts. So go ahead and torque those both down. Now we can pop off the old plenum gasket here, and if it needs to be clean, clean it up. And also we're going to look down the ports and make sure that nothing fell in, and if it did, go ahead and retrieve that now. Here are the gaskets I use for the plenum. I will link it up in the description of the video. You're also going to need to replace the throttle body gasket here. I'll link this up in the description also. Now we're ready to put the plenum back on, so we're going to slide it back over the studs on the lower intake there, and then we're going to start all the bolts by hand. So once you started all the bolts by hand, the front mount here had this little bridge here where the top cover clipped into, so you need to put that on there. Now you can just go ahead and run the bolts down so they're snug. I'm using my little M12 hex drive here. Having power tools like this really makes jobs like this extremely efficient. I will link these all up in the description of the video also. After running all the bolts down, I did it in a crisscross pattern. You can go ahead and torque all these bolts down to 16 foot-pounds, and we're going to do it like kind of like a star pattern, working from the middle out. So you kind of do a crisscross pattern back and forth until all the fasteners are tight and torqued down. Now you can go ahead and reinstall the throttle body. Make sure your new gasket is on. So slide those on, start the 4 bolts and tighten those down, or run them in until they're snug, and then we'll torque these all down. So now you can torque these all down to 16 foot-pounds. So now that the throttle body is torqued down, we're going to go in the back here and reattach all the vacuum hoses, the brake booster hose. We're also going to plug in the PCV hose that was underneath the manifold. You don't want to forget that one. So once you get those all plugged back in, then you're going to plug in the air temp sensor on the side of the manifold there. Now you can put the air boot back on. You're going to make sure you got the vent line that attaches here on the side, and then on the opposite side there's the vent line here that attaches here. Make sure that those are all attached, and then the wire loom is held into this little rubber grommet right here on the side of the boot. Make sure that's all secure and the clamp is tight. After that, we're going to go ahead and put the side cover on. It just mounts on here with 2 10mm bolts, and reroute the wires through. Once you got the side cover on and the wires routed through, then we're going to start putting the top cover on. So this cover is just pressed on, but it actually hooks in the back here. So you want to make sure it hooks underneath right here where this little wire loom goes through. So you make sure it hooks underneath, and then press it down. Then you can put the rear cover on and just line it up and press it into place. Now you can reinstall the front cover here, and with the little screw tabs right here. But before we do that, I'm going to show you how the EGR works with the ports cleared. So I hooked the jumper wires back up, and I'm applying power to it. And as you can hear, the engine really dramatically runs rougher and almost stalls. So I will link up all the parts and tools that I use in this video in the description. I'm Brian Esser from How to Automotive. I'd like to thank you guys for watching my videos, encourage you to subscribe, invite you to head over to the howtoautomotive.com website for more valuable videos like this. Thank you again for watching.